There are certain faces that seem destined for the silver screen. They possess a kind of luminous quality, a blend of beauty, intelligence, and an ineffable spark that draws you in. When you see a face like that, you feel you're witnessing the beginning of a long and brilliant story. You watch their early roles, you see the promise, you anticipate the great performances to come, and you feel a part of their journey. But what happens when that story is torn from the script? What happens when the light that burned so brightly is extinguished in an instant, leaving behind only questions, heartbreak, and the ghost of what might have been? This is the story of Lucy Gordon. To many, she was the beautiful British reporter in the blockbuster film Spider-Man 3. To others, she was the radiant rising star of European cinema, an actress of immense sensitivity and talent. She was on the very cusp of international stardom, celebrated at the Cannes Film Festival for a role that was destined to make her a household name. She was in love, living in a beautiful apartment in Paris, the most romantic city in the world. Lucy Gordon was born on May 22, 1980, in Oxford, England. To grow up in Oxford is to be surrounded by history, by towering spires of academia, and the quiet dignity of centuries of knowledge. Her father, Richard, was a teacher, and her mother, Susan, a nurse. It was a stable, loving, middle-class upbringing, a world away from the glitz and chaos of the entertainment industry she would one day inhabit. From a young age, Lucy was described as a bright, articulate, and deeply compassionate child. She had a creative spirit and a keen intellect, excelling at the prestigious Oxford High School. She was, by all accounts, a girl with a boundless future, though no one could have predicted the whirlwind path it would take. During her teenage years, in the mid-1990s, Lucy grew up amid a vibrant cultural resurgence in the United Kingdom, commonly referred to as Cool Britannia. This period marked a renewed sense of national pride and creative energy, fueled by economic optimism under the new Labour government and a wave of British talent dominating global pop culture. Britpop music was at its peak, with bands like Oasis, known for anthems such as Wonderwall and their rivalry with Blur, and Blur itself, whose hits like Park Life captured the essence of urban British life, dominating radio airwaves and charts. The Union Jack flag experienced a revival as a bold fashion symbol, appearing on everything from clothing by designers like Alexander McQueen to Jerry Halliwell's iconic Spice Girls dress. This era also saw a surge in British arts, with young designers, filmmakers, and artists like Damien Hirst and the Young British Artist movement gaining international acclaim. London served as the pulsating heart of this creative explosion, hosting events like London Fashion Week and becoming a magnet for innovative talent. The fashion industry in particular thrived as a pillar of this resurgence, blending street style with high couture and exporting British coolness worldwide. For a young girl like Lucy, living in Oxford, a more subdued academic town, this external cultural boom contrasted with her personal life, yet it set the stage for her entry into the spotlight. At the tender age of 15, during a school-organized trip to a clothes show, likely an event such as the Clothes Show Live in Birmingham, which was a popular annual exhibition showcasing emerging fashion trends and models, Lucy's trajectory shifted dramatically. Amid the bustling crowd of attendees, fashion enthusiasts, and aspiring models, she caught the eye of a talent scout from Select Model Management, one of London's premier agencies known for discovering stars like Sienna Miller and Helena Christensen. This encounter unfolded as a quintessential discovery narrative, reminiscent of stories in glossy magazines where everyday individuals are plucked from obscurity into fame. Lucy's physical attributes made her an instant standout. Her impressive height, around 5 feet 7 inches or taller, which is ideal for runway and print work. Classic English features including fair skin, dark hair, and symmetrical bone structure, and her intelligent, expressive eyes that convey depth beyond mere beauty. These qualities aligned perfectly with the industry's demand during the 1990s for versatile, fresh-faced models who could embody both commercial appeal and high-fashion edge. The scout approached her on the spot, initiating conversations that would lead to test shoots and contracts, marking the abrupt end of her ordinary school life and the beginning of a professional career. Almost immediately following her discovery, the Oxford schoolgirl was catapulted into the elite realm of high-fashion modeling, transforming her from a typical teenager into an international sensation. She signed with Select and quickly became a sought-after face for major brands, including CoverGirl, a cosmetics giant known for its empowering campaigns featuring relatable yet aspirational women, and Diane von Furstenberg, whose wrap dresses and bohemian chic style epitomized 1970s revival trends in the 1990s. Her image soon adorned the covers and pages of prestigious magazines like Vogue, Elle, and Harper's Bazaar, as well as massive billboards in cities like New York and London. This overnight success involved a whirlwind of activities, attending castings, fittings, and photo shoots that required poise and adaptability. As a minor navigating this adult-dominated industry, she balanced school obligations with work, often traveling under chaperoned arrangements. Her early portfolio showcased her versatility, from fresh-faced beauty ads to edgier editorial spreads, establishing her as a model with both commercial viability and artistic potential. The modeling career brought Lucy a series of exhilarating highs that few teenagers could fathom. She jetted off to glamorous destinations worldwide, exotic locations like Paris for Fashion Week, Milan for runway shows, and tropical islands for swimwear campaigns, immersing herself in a jet-set lifestyle filled with luxury hotels, first-class flights, and celebrity encounters. Collaborations with renowned photographers such as Mario Testino or Patrick Demarchelier allowed her to contribute to iconic images that define 1990s fashion aesthetics, blending grunge influences with polished elegance. Financially, the rewards were staggering. Earnings from contracts and endorsements provided independence and security far beyond what most peers her age experienced, enabling her to support herself and explore personal interests. These experiences expanded her worldview, exposing her to diverse cultures, creative minds, and the inner workings of a multi-billion-dollar industry, fostering a sense of accomplishment and adventure in her formative years. However, beneath the glamour, modeling exacted a heavy toll, characterized by immense pressure and deep-seated loneliness. Constant travel meant living out of suitcases, with irregular schedules disrupting any semblance of normalcy. No stable friendships, family routines, or consistent education. The industry's relentless focus on physical appearance led to perpetual scrutiny, weigh-ins, measurements, and critiques that could erode self-esteem, especially for someone still developing emotionally. As a child in an adult environment, Lucy faced challenges like predatory behavior, competition among models, and the superficiality of relationships built on professional gains rather than genuine connections. Her father later reflected on this duality in interviews, acknowledging that while modeling opened doors to incredible opportunities, financial stability, global exposure, and skill building, it also immersed her in a cruel and superficial world where rejection was commonplace and mental health often overlooked. This period highlighted the exploitative side of fashion, where young talents were commodified, contributing to feelings of isolation amid the crowds. Lucy harbored mixed feelings about her modeling career, viewing it as a valuable but ultimately transient phase. She expressed gratitude for the doors it opened: financial independence, confidence in front of cameras, and a platform for visibility, but sensed it lacked the intellectual and emotional fulfillment she craved. Modeling felt like a job, demanding physical presence but not deeper engagement, whereas she envisioned acting as a true vocation, a means to explore human experiences, embody complex characters, and contribute to storytelling. This internal conflict grew as she matured, prompting her to seek something more substantial. Influenced by her literary background, her father was a respected actor and she had a penchant for drama. She began contemplating a pivot, recognizing that her on-camera poise from modeling could translate to screen work, but only with dedicated training. Driven by her ambition to transition into acting, Lucy relocated to New York City, a hub for aspiring performers with its renowned theaters, film industry ties, and acting schools like the Lee Strasberg Theater and Film Institute or HB Studio. This move signified a deliberate shift from modeling superficiality to acting's depth. She enrolled in formal classes to hone her craft, studying techniques such as method acting, script analysis, and voice training. Unlike models who dabbled in acting for crossover appeal, Lucy committed fully, auditioning relentlessly and building a network in the competitive New York scene. This period involved financial adjustments, trading high modeling pay for student-like frugality, and personal growth as she immersed herself in the city's cultural offerings, from Broadway shows to independent films, solidifying her passion for narrative-driven work. Lucy's acting career gained momentum with small yet impactful roles that showcased her emerging talent. In 2001, she made her feature film debut in the drama Perfume, a story exploring the cutthroat world of fashion and fragrance industries, where she played a supporting character that drew on her real-life modeling experiences for authenticity. That same year, she appeared in the romantic comedy Serendipity, portraying the former girlfriend of John Cusack's lead character, a role that involved poignant scenes blending humor and heartbreak, introducing her to mainstream audiences and demonstrating her chemistry with established stars like Cusack and Kate Beckinsale. Wait, note, the text seems to refer to Kate Beckinsale as Lucy, but proceeding with given name. These parts, though not leads, allowed her to experiment with emotional range and on-set dynamics, earning positive notices for her natural screen presence and serving as stepping stones in Hollywood's hierarchical system. Building on her initial successes, Lucy secured roles in more prominent films, broadening her repertoire across genres and international collaborations. In 2002, she starred in the historical epic The Four Feathers, directed by Shekhar Kapoor, alongside rising star Heath Ledger. This adaptation of A.E.W. Mason's novel depicted themes of honor and colonialism in 19th century Sudan, with Lucy's character adding romantic and dramatic layers to the narrative. Her performance highlighted her ability to handle period costumes, accents, and intense action sequences. Following this, in 2005, she appeared in the French comedy The Russian Dolls, Les Poupées Russes, a sequel to L'Auberge Espagnole, directed by Cédric Klapisch, where she portrayed a character in a multilingual, multicultural ensemble. This role marked her first major foray into non-English language cinema, requiring her to adapt to French dialogue and European filming styles, showcasing her linguistic skills and cultural versatility. These projects elevated her status from newcomer to versatile actress, paving the way for future leading roles while affirming her commitment to diverse storytelling. She was slowly but surely building a credible career. She chose her roles thoughtfully, moving between independent cinema and larger studio films. She was what the industry calls a working actor, respected for her professionalism and her talent. But for an actress with her ambition and looks, the ultimate goal was often a major Hollywood breakthrough, a role that would make her instantly recognizable to a global audience. In 2007, that moment seemed to arrive. Lucy was cast as the ambitious television reporter Jennifer Dugan in Spider-Man 3, one of the most anticipated blockbusters of the decade. While the role was relatively small, it was significant. She was part of a massive, star-studded production, sharing scenes with Tobey Maguire and Bryce Dallas Howard. The film was a colossal box office success, seen by hundreds of millions of people around the world. For many actors, this would have been the launching pad, the moment they leverage a blockbuster credit into bigger and better roles in Hollywood. It was a sign that she had arrived. But Lucy Gordon's path was never a conventional one. Instead of chasing the Hollywood machine, she made a decision that would define the final and most artistically fulfilling chapter of her life. She moved to Paris. She had fallen in love with the city and with French cinema, which offered a depth and nuance she craved. She felt an artistic kinship with European filmmakers, who seemed more interested in character and emotion than in spectacle. In Paris, she wasn't just another beautiful actress from a superhero movie. She was a respected artist, admired for her intelligence and her willingness to take risks. It was in Paris that she landed the role that would become her legacy. The celebrated French comic book artist Gainsborg was directing his first feature film, a biopic about the iconic, controversial, and brilliant French singer and provocateur, Serge Gainsbourg. The film, titled Gainsborg, A Heroic Life, was one of the most prestigious projects in France. Sfar needed an actress to play one of the most important women in Gainsbourg's life, the English actress and singer Jane Birkin. Birkin was more than just Gainsbourg's muse and lover. She was an icon in her own right, a beloved figure in French culture. The role required an actress who could capture Birkin's unique blend of ethereal beauty, disarming innocence, and underlying strength. She also had to be English and be able to act fluently in French. When Gainsborg met Lucy, he knew instantly he had found his Jane Birkin. He later said she was Jane Birkin. There was no one else. For Lucy, it was the role of a lifetime, an opportunity to truly showcase her talent. She threw herself into the part with ferocious dedication. She listened to countless hours of Birkin's interviews to perfect her accent and speech patterns. She studied her mannerisms, her way of moving, the look in her eyes. She immersed herself in the turbulent, passionate, and ultimately heartbreaking love story of Gainsborg and Birkin. It was a role that demanded everything from her, emotionally and intellectually. On the set of the film, she also found love. She began a relationship with the film's cinematographer, Jérôme Almaras. By all accounts, they were deeply in love, a creative and passionate couple. They moved into a beautiful apartment in Paris's 10th arrondissement. To the outside world, Lucy's life was a fairy tale. She was living in Paris with a man she adored, and she had just completed a tour de force performance in a film that was already generating incredible buzz. In early May 2009, just weeks before her death, Gainsborg, A Heroic Life, was screened at the Cannes Film Festival. The film was a sensation, and Lucy's performance was singled out for praise. Critics and audiences were captivated by her uncanny and deeply moving portrayal of Jane Birkin. She was luminous on screen, capturing the very essence of the icon she was playing. Her father, who saw the film, described her performance as magical. The doors to international stardom were now wide open. She was no longer just the girl from Spider-Man 3. She was a serious, acclaimed actress with a brilliant career ahead of her. The future she had worked so hard for was finally here. And that is what makes what happened next so incomprehensibly tragic. On the morning of May 20th, 2009, Jerome Almaras woke to find the unthinkable. Lucy was dead. She had taken her own life in their Paris apartment. The news sent shockwaves through the film communities in France, Britain, and Hollywood. No one could understand it. How could a life so full of promise end so suddenly, so violently? She was just 2 days away from her 29th birthday. In the immediate aftermath, a grief-stricken public and a voracious media scrambled for answers. Why would she do it? The story that quickly emerged focused on the recent suicide of a close friend of hers back in Britain. The theory was that this event had plunged her into a deep despair from which she couldn't recover. It was a simple, tragic explanation, and it offered a degree of closure. But for those who knew her best, the reality was far more complex. Her father, Richard Gordon, spoke to the press with incredible courage and clarity in the days following her death. He gently pushed back against the simple narrative, revealing that Lucy had battled depression for many years. He described her as a person of immense empathy and compassion, someone who felt the world's sorrows as her own. Lucy was a worrier, he explained. She was a very compassionate and caring person, and she saw the tragedies of others. She was a person who was fighting demons, and she fought them for a long, long time. This revelation reframed the tragedy. It wasn't a sudden, impulsive act brought on by a single event, but the final tragic outcome of a long, silent, and painful struggle with a debilitating illness. The true controversy, if one can call it that, lies in this very human struggle for understanding. Is it more comforting to believe that a singular tragedy caused her death, or to accept the more painful reality that a person can seem to have everything, love, beauty, success, and still be suffering profoundly on the inside? Her story forces us to confront the deceptive nature of appearances. The smiling, radiant woman on the red carpet at Cannes was in private waging a war within herself that no one could see. Another deeply personal and rarely discussed element of her story is the existence of her diaries and letters. Following her death, her father revealed that Lucy had left behind extensive writings. While the family has, quite rightly, kept these private, the very fact that she was a dedicated diarist paints a picture of a deeply introspective and articulate young woman. It suggests a rich inner world filled with thoughts and feelings she may have felt unable to share. These unseen pages are a poignant symbol of the private pain she carried, a silent monologue running beneath the public dialogue of her life. They remind us that for every article written about her, for every role she played, there was a deeper, more complex story known only to her. Her death also casts a long shadow over the broader conversation about mental health in the creative industries. The life of an actor is one of inherent instability and immense pressure. It's a career of dizzying highs and crushing lows, of intense scrutiny and constant rejection. For a person with a sensitive disposition, this environment can be incredibly toxic. Lucy's story became a tragic case study in the immense pressure placed on young performers and the critical importance of mental health support systems within the industry. It served as a heartbreaking reminder that success is not a vaccine against despair. When Gainsborg, A Heroic Life, was released posthumously in 2010, watching it was an almost unbearably poignant experience. There on the screen was Lucy, vibrant, alive, and delivering the performance of her career. The praise was universal. She was nominated for a César Award, the French equivalent of an Oscar. Her portrayal of Jane Birkin was not just an imitation, it was a resurrection, an embodiment of another woman's soul, brought to life by an actress of incredible depth. The film stands as her definitive artistic statement, a permanent record of her immense talent. It is both a celebration of her gift and a heartbreaking monument to what the world has lost. The significance of Lucy Gordon's story is not just in the tragedy of her death, but in the lessons it imparts about life. It compels us to look beyond the curated images of success and happiness that we see in the media and in our own lives. It reminds us that we can never truly know the battles that another person is fighting behind their public face. Her father put it most beautifully when he said, "We must celebrate the life she led." It was a short life, but it was a life that was packed with excitement and creativity. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up, let us know your thoughts in the comments section, and subscribe so you won't miss out on future uploads. See you next time.